Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show that I do every once in a while, longer and harder. Welcome everybody. It's been a bit, just a little bit. I don't know. Been busy, I guess. Gotta fix the camera. I could have. I don't want to complain because it's nice that it's so bright out, but it's bright out, and so it's making it kind of difficult for me to get good lighting in my office. I'm not sure you all seen Office, new Office. Um, I moved. I did that thing where I moved to the same apartment, just in a different part of the building. Because I got kicked out of my old apartment because I wanted to use it as a model. So they kicked me out, and now I move here. I live here. Um, so yeah, this be a thing. This be my office. Um, how are you all doing today? Hello, Insider and Pasta and Micro. How are you all doing? I know how Pasta's doing. They got goats. I think no lemurs. They got lemurs today. In case you don't know, Pasta works at the zoo and has lemurs to take care of or watch or something. I don't know. I don't know what they do. They do something. They do something with manimals. So yeah, welcome back, everybody. Today we have a very special video that was brought to us by Pasta, who found a reaction video. So we're gonna react to a reaction video because that's what like all the cool kids do, right? Right? That's what we do. Helping Chrissy work on her Witcher PNP sheet. Oh, neat. I gotta like that's a whole thing that's happening in Discord, isn't it? And I don't pay enough attention. Discord's hard. Discord is has a lot of stimuli going on all at the same time. And I struggle with it, so I don't pay much attention to it. But that's super cool. I'm glad that you all are doing neat things like that. I'm already tangentable. Uh, I took like a week off sometime. I don't remember when. And I worked on trying to like build my own RPG just for kind of funsies and stuff. And it was I had some like neat ideas that I like. I just gotta like actually flesh it out more. I think Micro has read through the document. Obviously, it needs to be play tested and not finished. It just needs to be like refined a little bit before I can like really give it another like good play test. So things that need to happen. But it's something that I like. I really like that kind of code. Never played Witcher though, but I hear like the it's fun. So cool. R&D, I got used to vacation for sale. If you're interested, got a used vacation. Woo! I want one of those. I'm actually got already tangents. I'm on kind of a weird vacation where if you don't follow me on Twitter, I have COVID. Had COVID. I don't know how that works. That's where I be. So I haven't been to work and like I don't know when was last Thursday. Last Thursday was the last time I was at work. And then I kind of died on Friday, got tested positive, continued to die on Saturday, kind of came back to life on Sunday and Monday slowly, and then by Tuesday I was fine. So I kind of on a vacation now because I can't go back to work until Wednesday, and so I've been just kind of hanging around my house. However, I have been stuck in my room because I don't want to get Pasta sick. So they've been getting the rest of the house while I get to just hang out in my room. This is like the second time I've been outside of my room in like a week to go to my office. I moved most of my stuff to my room just so that I wouldn't have to leave it as often. But here I am. I got like 2 days left of my little vacation. I'm painting stuff and building robots and whatnot. It's like I got a dinosaur. I painted this guy last night. Look at him, he's so cool. I like him. And a lady. I might have to close the window there if that gets too loud, you all. If you all can hear the saw in the background. That's kind of where we be. It's a D10 system with only 2 dice. That's kind of cool. The one that I was kind of working on was more. I was trying to do like a D6 system. I was kind of taking some ideas from like Warhammer 40K. Because they do all of their stuff with like DCs with a D, you know, with a D6. Gosh, I am a mess. And so I kind of wanted to base it off on that a little bit, which why not? It's fun, right? Fun stuff all around. So, with all of that said, why are we here today? We are here today because Pasta found me a video, which is a reaction of Matt Walsh's video. So, the ever so lovely Paul and Morgan, which I'm sure y'all know, you'll remember that nonsense. They are reacting to Matt Walsh's as documentary, and then there's I don't think I can put enough quotation marks around the word documentary. I need more. I do not have enough. It's a documentary on pretty much just being transphobic as hell. And so he brought it out, I don't know, like 2-3 months ago maybe. It's called What's a Woman or something like that. And I haven't watched it. I'm not going to. Probably not. Not on its own, because honestly, like, it's Matt Walsh is already, like, I already know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same bullshit that it always is, right? It's gonna be the same transphobic bullshit that nothing has changed. That's one of the things about being transphobic, or bigoted, just kind of in general, is the arguments put forward haven't changed, and honestly, I'm not gonna indulge in sitting around and having a debate about trans people, because we shouldn't be debating people. We shouldn't be debating the existence of people. That seems wrong. Like, there's no reason to sit around and debate whether trans people exist or not. Clearly, they do. It's going to be out of context stuff, even more out of context, because Paul and Morgan has edited down. Perfect, love it. It's probably going to be this. And again, it's not like I'm fairly sure that without watching Matt Walsh's movie, right, without actually sitting down and watching it, that I know what the movie is like, right? There's probably, it's the same shit where they find, like, the 3 people who have transitioned and regret it, or don't feel like it, and then they make it seem like that's the whole, like, look, it's all of this, and then they're gonna talk about too many different kinds of pronouns, because that's the thing, and 2 different kinds of identities, because that's the thing they want to complain about, and how confusing it is for them, not thinking it's actually confusing, but how confusing it is for them. And so it's the same bullshit, right? It hasn't changed, and it won't. They have the one kind of regrets. They have one that kind of regrets it, yeah, so, like, statistically, and I like, it's not like I know the statistics off the top of my head, but, like, the amount of hoops that you have to jump through, right, to transition, in any, to transition medically and whatnot, are so many hoops that it's a very, too many, but it's such a process that I'm not surprised that it's such a low rate of people who are like, oh yeah, I regret this, because the people who go through it, like, really had to put a whole lot of effort in to go through it. You don't go through that much effort and then be like, oh no, I regret this shit, right? Like, you don't. So that's already, I'm sure that it's a very low number as is. I am gonna close my door because it's starting to get loud for me at least. So hold on a sec. Okay, sorry about that, but we're gonna do that. So yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that's that, like, it does happen. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that it's such a minuscule little outlier that there's not that you shouldn't pay attention to it, but there's no reason to make that be the norm when it's an outlier, right? And that's what a lot of these anti-trans debate people are really trying to do. They're trying to take these very small numbers of people that do maybe regret it, and pretending like that's the normal thing, where it's the opposite, entirely the opposite. So yeah. So that's my opinion on Matt Walsh's movie, which I haven't seen. Is there a beer of the week? I'm gonna try beer of the week, but I'm gonna hold on coffee. So one of the things I have beers. I'm upset. I'll tell you what I'm upset about. I went to Wisconsin in March. Yes, March. And I brought back a bunch of beers, which I have mostly drank, but I have like 2 or 3 beers that are like, I'm going to save these for the next times that I bother to stream, which is obviously never. And I've been wanting to kind of drink those for a stream, but I haven't gotten to it because I haven't streamed. So I really been saving them, but thanks to COVID stuff, I've, like, more or less lost my sense of taste. Smell, taste, I don't know, both the same. And I really don't want to like break into them and then not be able to taste this deliciousness because I didn't because I can't taste anything at the moment. Hopefully it's something that improves. So I'm drinking coffee because I can taste bitter and sugar. I can taste. That's about it. So I'm tasting bitter at the moment. I might break into one of my regular beers, which I have like a strawberry beer, which I absolutely adore, but tastes like garbage when you can't taste the strawberries. So I might break into one of those, especially once Paul and Morgan start talking, because I'm sure that I will need it. But until then, coffee it is, and we'll see how kind of things go. I hope Paul and Morgan includes all Star Wars man who is just some guy who runs a Star Wars knick-knack shop. And Mass asks him for some reason. Good. I love that. I love all these debate bros. My favorite part about debate bros is that they go and just find random ass people. Like, that's... Their whole shtick is just finding random ass people. And I absolutely fucking love that. Like, I just why not, right? Like, debate random ass people because this is clearly how all of this works. I'm not surprised. Okay, so with all of that, let's get moving to... Do I know how to... Do I still know how to use this whole thing? What is it called? Streamlabs. I shouldn't talk like I don't know how to use it because I use it like once a week. If you're still interested and would like to have more of R&D in your life, when do I do things? I do things on Thursdays and Saturdays at Rolling Left on Twitch, on the Twitch. I DM on Thursdays and I play on the other day. No, that's the wrong window. And I play in DM, D&D stuff. So if you'd like to watch more of my nonsense, that's a good place to start. So, Paul and Morgan, here we go. Here are these two. Fantastic people. I love these two, right? We all love them. So the thing about Paul and Morgan is that, young couple who is very hypocritical about Christianity, mostly in they give unsolicited advice to the world about how to be a better Christian, while they themselves engage in some not so Christian-y things. My favorite is the fact that they are I think they're very anti-gay, if I remember right, and they always look into what is it, Leviticus? Where the fuck the not gay thing comes from in the Bible, which I think is Leviticus. And they always like oh, Jesus, not that Jesus said that, but God says you can't be gay or whatever. While going through those parts of the Bible, and Morgan has tattoos, which is also a very much so a thing that the Bible says not to have. So overall, bit of a hypocrites all around, as people who give unsolicited advice on the internet are. A bit of hypocrites in there, where they don't. They should probably follow their own advice or whatever. They just need to both come out as gay. I mean, probably. I'm pretty sure Paul is, but what do I know? I don't know. I shouldn't be like telling them that they're gay. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are. Who fuck knows? Okay, so with all that said, let's hear what they got to say.
What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
Oh no! Stop! You're disgusting. Also, I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? I can hear you, but not very loudly. Oh, what is this? Okay, we're gonna pause things for a second because apparently my headphones decided to only have the left side work and not the right side, so we're going to disconnect everything and reconnect everything, and I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Emma sits on everything. This is great. This is all fantastic. Emma's here. Isn't she the loveliest little baby girl? I don't remember when the last time I streamed, so I don't know if you all know that there's a new baby in the house somewhere. It's really just decided, okay, we're gonna oh, okay. We're gonna do this the hard way. Okay, there we go. So hopefully that'll work now.
Today's video, we are asking not the age-old question, because it's actually a very new question.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Which is, what is a woman? Am I a woman?
Okay. God, we're gonna pause a lot, aren't we? This is what we're gonna do in this house today. Age-old question. If God didn't want gay people, then why did he make them so hot? Honestly, what the fuck? Hi, beautiful girl. So yes, age-old question. Is it an age-old question? Is it a new question? One of the things that I find extremely fascinating is clearly trans people have existed for a very long time. Like it's not like like a lot of these reactionary types like to pretend like it's a new fad, right? Like that's half of their half of their argument is that it's a new fad, right? That it's something that's occurred in the last whatever couple of years, but it's not. Before that, like when I was a kid, we had boys and girls, and we didn't question anything, which is not at all how any of this works. Of course, trans people have existed for a very long time. There's some really cool articles that I've seen kind of pushed out, posted on Twitter from like the early 1920s and stuff, talking about trans people. And the best part about it is how nice they are. And it seems weird for something from like the 1920s, but they're really nice trans people. Like, it's just this, like, this is what it is. This is what happens. This is how we accept it. Like, it's nothing remotely, like, controversial. They just make it as, like, a statement of fact. So, this idea that it hasn't been, this is a new topic or a new issue is bullshit all around. So I call bullshit there. The other one is, one of the reasons that people want to pretend that it's a new thing is so that, hey, ugly German truths, how are you? The only other reason that reactionaries want to pretend like it's a new thing is so that they can do the, that their argument be like new, and we don't like new, right? Like it's against tradition or whatever. I don't know. So it's a lot of pretending like this is a new thing. It's not a new thing. And then finally, gosh, I could get to a point now. Finally, the thing that I think makes it seem new isn't that trans people are new, is that the dialogue around trans people has become more mainstream and more, it's become acceptable to be trans. And that's also like one of their issues with it. It's not, that is a whole lot of their issue with it. It's not that like trans people are necessarily doing anything or like, right, like it's that people are okay with it and you can't just like bully the trans kids anymore. And that really is it. Like I've seen so many of these conservative. Hopefully this is gonna mess up the screen a little bit. I've seen so many of these reactionary types really complain about the fact that like back in the day I used to be able to bully trans people and now I can't. And I mean they're right. Back in the day you used to be able to bully people, trans people, and now you can't. And good. And so yeah, it's become a mainstream and a normal thing in society, and so they want to be bitchy about it, because cons ignore history. Of course they do. Like they really do. Gosh, every time, I swear. Nothing has ruined. Here are my monsters. I'm not sure which ones you can see, but they are here. Like every time somebody brings up any amount of historical or literary analysis from the right, it's like goddamn, like you just a complete ignorance of everything that has ever happened in human history. It's absolutely insane every time. Okay. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Are you a woman? How do we know? Well, Matt Walsh made this. He spent some time. It feels like he made this documentary relatively quick, because there's like so many current events and stuff. It feels like that, but at the same time, like it was a quality. I'm just saying, like it was a quality documentary.
Oh, Paul, shut the fuck up. Nothing. I'm gonna unequivocally say this because I hate Matt Walsh, and I don't mind just being like fuck you, Matt Walsh. Nothing that Matt Walsh puts out on the internets is of high quality at all. Period. Like he is just not a high quality man. Like everything that he puts out there, from his stupid little tweets to Probably this movie. I'm sure that he's made videos, right? Like, he's Matt Walsh. I'm gonna try to fix the light. The lighting is really bothering me, guys. Hopefully that's a little bit. It's so bright back here. My camera can't focus on me. That's fine. Yeah, like Paul is just wrong. There's really nothing like high quality remotely about anything that Matt Walsh has ever said and or done. The weird thing is how they'd rather bring society down than accept that being able to bully people without much trouble in the past was already wrong. It's true, right? It wasn't right back then. Right? Being able to get away with it, right? Being able to get away with bullying trans people and gay people and black people and whatever, right? Asian people, everybody, right? Because white people bully everybody. Sorry, white people. I'm being mean. Is that even if you were able to get away with it, doesn't make it okay. It just meant you were able to get away with it, right? It just meant that you weren't being given a really hard time. Oh, yes, women people too. You're right, women people too. That doesn't make it that doesn't make it okay. You got away with it because those people's voices were silenced. But it's not okay. Don't. The only one that you're allowed to bully is Micro, so that he can go to the doctor. Everyone else, unbullyable. Don't bully them. That's a lie. I bully everybody. Matt Walsh is also whining about not being able to bully atheists. Yeah, Matt Walsh whining is it's a reactionary thing. That's what the reactionaries do. They sit around and whine. It's the whole like you can't make jokes anymore kind of thing. They just want to sit around and whine about shit that doesn't concern them. It's what they did. I did bully you to go to the doctor. I stand by that. Okay, so with that said,
very good.
Exploring this topic, man, like it is a powerhouse. It's the type of documentary that as I'm watching, a few things pop through my mind, and we're about to get to a lot.
Oh God, this Paul, I didn't like you before. I genuinely did not like you before, but goddamn, oh God, like, stop fucking sucking up. Stop simping over Matt Walsh. Goddamn.
We're about to unpack a lot, but it's like, man, what a brave dude to be able to put this documentary out in 2022, and also
fucking white people. I'm sorry. Fucking straight white people. The fucking audacity of straight white people. It's just, it gets to me. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. This whole like, what's it called? Victim complex that they have. Like, it's so brave that you were able to go shit on a marginalized group. Like, what? Like, there's no amount of bravery and standing up in front of your giant ass audience and shitting on a group of people who's already constantly shat on. Like, that does not take any amount of fucking courage. That is honestly one of the most cowardly things that you can do, is sit around and bash on an already marginalized group. Like, you're not being courageous. You're being an absolute fucking coward. That's it. That's all you're being. Again, and it goes back to the bully thing. Like, it's not a complaint about not needing to be courageous to talk about these things. It's about the fact that now, thankfully, and not always, but now you can't just be a bigot and get away with it unquestionably. It is now a if you're going to be a bigot, people are going to call you out on that, and that's really what's happened. What's one of the biggest changes is that people call you out on them, and that does not necessarily mean that anything of consequence is going to happen to the bigots. Like, Matt Walsh is still like fucking on Twitter saying this nonsense, right? Like, I'm sure he's still making plenty of money, right? Like, it's not like after this brave film he lost his career or anything. Like this is all, he's still fine. He's still okay. Like, nothing has happened to him. On the other hand, trans people get the shit beat out of them for going into bathrooms, or God, the video that always gets to me is like how I think it was a high school principal. It might have been a high school principal or a teacher in a high school who went and opened up the door to a bathroom, where the door to the bathroom where like a trans person is sitting and using the bathroom. Like, that's what they fucking have to deal with. It's just like a fucking adult walking into a kid's bathroom and opening the door to watch him fucking pee, right? And you have all these people like fucking Matt Walsh and Paul and Morgan being over here like, oh, it's so brave to stand up for bigotry. Like, no, fuck you. You're a bunch of cowards. Fucking fuck. I'm angry now. Have you any idea how expensive it's go to the doctor for Micro? Yeah, I know, right? No wonder he fucking didn't go for a fucking month. He's been okay. Micro's been dying for like a month and would not go to the doctor at all. Just fucking dying until today. Today he went to the doctor. It turns out he's got like an inflated uvula and it needs some antibiotics. So good for him for going to the doctor. But like, he sat around dying for a month for no reason. Zero reason. You're not even an American. You don't even have the excuse that it costs you money. Just go to a fucking doctor. I mean, you did, but still. That sounds like the same delusion that makes people call Trump a hero for fighting against mainstream when that is nothing close to what he does. It's true, right? And all of these conservatives really like to circle jerk around how brave they are to each other, right? They just sit around and like, we're so brave together. And honestly, you're not. This does not require any amount of bravery to be a bigot. It really doesn't. So, okay. So with that said, yeah, I know, right? A whole month of an inflated uvula, and we're sitting here like, so I can just okay. Cons are about as brave as Putin is smart. There you go. Oh god, 50 fucking seconds into this video. We are making good time, you all.
So the people that he's interviewing that are very like pro gender gender fluidity and stuff, how did he get interviews with them?
So he lied. That's how, right? There's been people have posted their Twitter conversations with the producers and stuff of this movie, and they went out and like they try to get a bunch of people to talk to them, and then we're like, oh, we're gonna talk about trans issues, and it's gonna be balanced and positive in this. Like, they didn't tell them what the movie was about. They fucking lied. That's also how they did it. Like, it's not, again, nothing brave, nothing smart. It was just fucking Matt Walsh lied about it, right? Matt Walsh was like, they sat around and lied about what the documentary was going to be about, and they didn't even use their real name because nobody with any amount of reasonable anything, right? Nobody who's got access to a phone internets is going to get a message from Matt Walsh, not Google their name and find out how much of a bigot they are, right? So they couldn't even tell him that it was Matt Walsh, right? Like, it's, man, you two fucking simping over this is disgusting. Like, you really, gross. And not just when they call their propaganda journalism. I know, right?
I know. Yeah. That was very interesting.
Granted, several of them walked out, so it felt a little bit like
one, really.
Couple. There was a couple that
3 of them threatened to walk out. 1 of them actually walked out.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to some clips. We're gonna give thoughts. Man,
yes.
This is gonna be packed. It's gonna be packed.
Yes. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
I just, again, the audacity of white straight people is beyond me. To fucking sit around in a place of privilege like this and do this shit. They can't remember what they watched. Honestly, like, I'm sure that after watching Matt Walsh, that they put a lot of it into, like, maybe subconsciously we're like, this is garbage. God.
We're giving commentary on culture, social issues, and faith to help you be in the world,
but of the word. Let's do this. shout out to our patrons. Thank you guys for supporting.
Are they not? Do they not do the little Paul and Morgan song anymore? Like that was one of the stupidest shit in the world, but I loved it, and I'm really sad. I do a little Paul and Morgan song.
The channel monthly. Seriously, you guys are a huge blessing. We just actually a couple hours ago, Morgan updated the Patreon roll that we play at the end that you guys see. So any new patrons that just
Okay, I don't care. Oh no, how could I forget to mention Ray Comfort and his college campus surveys with the Consummate Liars, one of the OG Deceptive editors. Oh yeah, no, 100%. You know, it's what it's God, it's such a staple of these weirdos. You know, Matt. Sorry, Ray Comfort did it for a while. What's his face? Used to do it all the time. God, why can't I remember? Steven Crowder, right? Like that's Steven Crowder's thing. Except that Steven Crowder would often get his ass handed to him. My favorite is still what is it? Lauren Southerns, who goes around and gets like everyone just makes fun of her, and she's so bad at the whole editing college kids out of context things that she doesn't edit the kids out of context and just puts in the whole kid like fucking shitting on them for like 5 minutes, and it's hilarious because it's like they make good points. They just verbally beat the shit out of you, and she will just keep it in the video. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare! I love that. Fucking cowards, all of them.
That just joined.
Okay,
you guys
Patreon shit.
Role. Shout out to every patron that is in that role. Also, this video and these types of videos, even though we are just commentating on the documentary, so Matt Walsh is really in the line of fire here. But just talking about this stuff, being bold on these topics, we don't know if this video is going to get demonetized. We don't know. We just don't know. Like,
being bold, my bigotry, it's boldness. Shut the fuck up. Well, no, it's not. And so this is the other one of my favorite conservative little things is that there are rules, right? And I'm not that I'm big on rules, but there are rules, and I think especially important when it comes to conservatives because they're all big onto like just follow the rules, just follow instructions, do what the police officer says, right? Like they're those people, right? Who are just like the rules equals morality. They're the rules. Don't go against them. So a lot of these places, clearly, YouTube, Twitter, TikToks, whatever, they have their whatchamacallit. They have a name for that. They have their rules, right? They have their what are they called? Terms of service. There we go. I have a name. They have their terms of service, right? And their terms of service are very much so in the like you should know them, and a lot of them are like, don't be a fucking bigot. And then people like Paul and Morgan show up and they're fucking bigots, and then they get upset that their bigotry gets them banned, right? Like, or not banned, like their videos taken down, demonetized, their Twitter accounts locked up, right? And they always pretend like it's because they're being silenced for having a bold opinion, as opposed to like the fact that they were just bigots and didn't follow the terms of service. That's it. Like, those are the terms of service. Follow them. Or don't. Like, if you don't, those are the consequences. I don't know. I can do the thing. Right? So they're gonna complain the thing. I appear sick and putting things on in the background. Good. How's it going, Ozma? Talking about Paul and Morgan and Matt Walsh. One of my favorite sets of people ever. But yes, it's always this like this pretend, again, back to the pretend, the victimhood. Oh no, you're sick. That sucks. Stomach flu. I've been with COVID for a bit of a week. I can't even be like, it sucks because it's been fine. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a pretty good fine time with it. I still can't go to work, but at least I'm okay. So I'm sorry that you have such a hard time. I hope you feel better soon, Ozma. I hate that you're sick. And enjoy hopefully a day off and relaxing and all that, and sit and rest. Those are good things. Some of them are people like are like people's offices, but then the interviews JBP at like this weird Inspector Cafe for some reason. Ooh. Rhetoric&Discourse, you should not forget that Christians are admired for every time they can show they are persecuted, because the stupid book says the Christians would be persecuted and scoffed at. That is also true. but yeah, and so on top of all of right, on top of this pretend victimhood, the thing that always gets me is, of course, that people like Steven Crowder still has a unnecessarily giant channel that's incredibly profitable, even though he has easily one of the most bigoted channels on the interwebs, right? Like incredibly transphobic, incredibly racist, incredibly homophobic. Like that's what Steven Crowder has made his career off of, is being a bigot. And his channel still remains up on YouTube. So it's not while other channels get their videos taken down. I know that a lot of trans creators get their videos taken down for talking about trans issues in really a positive light, right? Like not even nothing that's actually bigoted, but just talking about these issues. One of the ones that I most recently found, there's this lady, and I really wish I remember her name, but she does like cooking videos. And she does a whole series, and I think she's become really famous for it, where she debunks like cooking hacks or life hacks, right? And she started with cooking hacks, and then it just went on to like more life hacky things. But she talks a lot about those like silly TikTok cooking hacks or whatever, 5-minute crafts. I forget what they're called. And one of her more recent videos was about this. I forget what it's called, but you basically take like a slab of wood and you run electricity through it, and it like breaks it like creates like a little lightning pattern on the slab of wood. Incredibly dangerous. Incredibly unsafe. You will like fucking die if you do it, and people have died. And there are YouTube videos on the YouTubes explaining how to create these death machines to make this like wood slab thing, which looks cool, but don't do it. And how whole ass tutorials on how to do this, right? And people have died. She made a video being like, "Hey, don't do this shit. It's really dangerous. You're gonna die." And her video explaining why it is dangerous and not to do it because you're gonna die got taken down by YouTube, and not the videos actually explaining you how to make the death machine. Moral of the story: YouTube is fucking weird about what they allow to stay up, what they don't allow to stay up, what they get, all of that. They're fucking weird about it, and it sucks because they genuinely take down some very positive content. Just because the whole system is fucking stupid. The Littenberg Frick Red saw this mention on Minuteman's channel as one of Yek's explanation for Grand Canyon. Oh, really? That's in. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. Someone with more sciencey than me. There's Micro put on the channel, and this is one of her more recent videos. So overall, YouTube fucking weird about what they demonetize, don't demonetize. Of course, these two need to be persecuted, maybe both, who knows. Need to be persecuted, right? So they need to pretend like they're the victims here. But again, I'm not sure how much YouTube actually cares. Emma and Edge are playing, so they need a lot of room to play. Okay.
Like, the powers at be are not fans of perspectives like what we are about to have. So
no, they're not fans of bigotry, right? They're just not fans of bigotry. It's it. They're not. You two are bigots, and people are not fans of bigotry. That's it. That's all it is.
Help us out. Comment, share this video, and give it a thumbs up. It means a lot. All right, let's go, Morgan. So let's just start off. Play a little bit. It's like 20 seconds of the actual trailer, and we link the full trailer below.
You got it.
What is a woman trailer?
You are not here for women. We ask you to leave.
What is that?
Controversial mind. You're not controversial. And again, so that's the other. None of this is controversial, right? It's again, bigoted, but it's not controversial. You're not saying anything new, Matt Walsh. None of these people, Paul and Morgan aren't saying anything about Matt Walsh. None of this is new. It's all the same garbage. But sort of to the slight point that I made a bit ago about people Googling Matt Walsh's name, like, did people know who he is, and clearly don't want him there for good reason, honestly.
I'm a husband. I'm a father of 4. I host a talk show. I give speeches. I write books. I like to make sense of things.
Sorry, I gotta go back to that because that was kind of really funny. Like, look at this Batman wannabe over here. Oh God, that's such a little
books.
There we go. We're gonna focus on this for a second because it's such a funny little thing. But then there's still people that but then there are still people that defend the other guy for his video from the Japanese suicide forest. YouTube is weird. Okay, it was Logan Paul. Yeah, like it's just it's super weird, right? So I'm sorry. This like Batcave wannabe is honestly hilarious. Like, it's such a what's it called? It's such a little weird fantasy to have that like you sit in this dungeon basement and work, like, buddy, like, set up a desk at your office or something. Like, I don't understand what the fantasy is. Well, I do. I understand what the fantasy. I shouldn't say I don't. Like, the fantasy is back to that, like, I'm making a bold, unwanted statement, or whatever, controversial statement. That's the word. I'm making a bold, controversial statement, and I need to stay hidden in my secret back cave on my basement, where I do all my secret work. Like, it's hilarious how, like, that is the fantasy that this man and Paul and Morgan and so many people have about what they were doing, right? Like, they're doing all this in secret. It's all like a giant conspiracy rather than just them being on Twitter being bigots. Oh no.
I like to make sense.
Oh no, load.
A woman is not anything in particular.
There is not one particular thing.
It could be many things to many people.
Some women have penises.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Well, that's one way to end it.
Okay, so yes. I don't think any of those people said anything particularly controversial, right? Like, it's there isn't a one defining feature of a woman. Also hilarious, which is the thing that everyone fucking does, is you got a bunch of men to sit around and debate what it is to be a woman, like, right? Like, because men know what a woman is, right? And so that's way to fucking go. But at the same time, yeah, like, nothing controversial there. There's not a one thing that makes you a woman. There's not a single feature. It is, it's also, like, they're controversial if you're a silly person like the people who watch Matt Walsh. It's true. Like, it's even, like, I would love them to, right, I would love them to fucking tell me what that one feature is, because they couldn't, right? It's always like the they want to be able to tell, or they want to not be able to. They pretend like they can tell, right? They can always tell. They can't, because being a woman has such a variety of factors, and those factors have different, like, even those factors have different, I don't know how to put it, like, different sliders of what they are, like prominent, non-prominent, of those sliders. So you can't just pick a one thing and be like, this is the one thing that makes a woman, and all women have this one thing. And every time they try, right, every time one of these people tries to sit around and be like, a woman is somebody who does this, you can give them examples of women who don't, because there isn't a one thing. Women can give birth or whatever, live birth. Again, not all women can. For a variety of different reasons, not all women can. Right? People who are who would in traditional senses be considered women, right? Like every time this happens, every time you ask them to tell you what that one thing is, they fucking flounder around and can't because there isn't a one thing. Of course, men need to debate what a woman is. How can we own females if there is no simple, easy to understand label? It's very true. I should put that on the list of the next thing to do at the patriarchy meeting, so I can owns me a woman's. But yeah, and it really is like every goddamn time it's fucking men sitting around talking about what a woman is. My favorite is still not my favorite. I say favorite like it's a fucking good thing. It's terrible, right? But I always think back to that time that Sargon of Akkad and Rationality Rules did a whole like little conversation, and again, two fucking cis white dudes are sitting around debating what a fucking woman is. Like, where do you get off? Where do you get off being like, I'm a dude, I'm gonna tell you what a woman is every fucking time, right? Without fail, it's always the same thing. It's always white dudes sitting around telling you what a woman is. Ugh.
So I think she was about to say some women have penises, some men have vaginas.
Got it. Great.
Yeah. What's the argument against that? Like, yeah, some women have vaginas, some women have penises. Some men have vaginas, some men have penises. What's the issue, Paul? What's the issue, Morgan? Like, I really want to know what is your issue with that? What with that statement in particular? What is your issue with it?
Yeah, you guys need to go watch the full trailer and then go watch the whole documentary over on the Daily Wire. You do have to subscribe to like their monthly thing. It's $14 a month if you want to do it like monthly, or $12 a month if you want to do it annually.
Man, they really are like promoting Daily Wire. That's hilarious.
I feel like this was...
Is there a pirated... I need to find a pirated version. Now I need to find a fucking pirated version of this. Because now I want to see it. You can find it for free. Good. I'm not paying for the garbage. As soon as I find it, I'm like, oh no, maybe we'll sit around and watch it. But, oh gosh. It's just... it's ridiculous.
It was absolutely worth signing up for and paying.
No, it's
$14
not.
for,
God.
like, one.
Don't fucking sign up for the Daily Wire. Like, fuck the Daily Wire.
1,000%, you guys. Do it. Even if you just do it for 1 month, pay the $14 and watch this documentary.
They put some time, energy, money into this documentary, so I'm...
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, but I am impressed by the amount of simping that these two are doing for the Daily Wire and Matt Walsh. Like, come on.
I'm grateful. What is a woman? Man, like, so many directions that we could go here, and I do have a few more clips to play. Mm-hmm. Pull up the picture of Matt Walsh. So you guys are pretty familiar with Matt Walsh.
Sorry, entirely not, well, related to this, but entirely not about trans people. One of the things that I completely enjoyed about the internet is I recently finished watching The Boys Season 3, which, oh, fantastic. God, I love The Boys. So good. The Boys Season 3, and they went hard on... they went fucking hard on the reactionary shit. Like, right? Like, they just shed on conservatives, and particularly like the MAGA people. Like, they shed on them so fucking hard. And then a bunch of people were like, the most unrealistic thing about The Boys is that they think this one man is what a conservative looks like. And it's literally Matt Walsh. I gotta fucking find that tweet somewhere, because it's hilarious. Could be your Twitters. It is just Matt Walsh. It is just Matt Walsh, and I love it. The most unrealistic thing. I'm gonna just fucking Google a thing, right? An unrealist. Can I spell things? Part of The Boys. I fucking this it's fucking hilarious every time. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. I think this is the tweet. You haven't watched it yet? Okay, well, I'll tell you. Fantastic. I won't spoil too much of it, but oh gosh, I'm gonna have to find this up. The Boys. It's but they really do, they really do go really hard. Like it's not subtle. So if you've seen season 2, it turns out that the superheroes are racist, and one of them is a Nazi, like an actual, not even like a good old new Nazi, like a good old fashioned Nazi from like good old fashioned, right? And oh, thank you. And they went extra hard this last season on really portraying the Homelander and his supporters as just like the biggest MAGA idiots in the world, and it's hilarious. And people really really kind of lost their shit about it, and it's hilarious. Let's see if I can find the actual. My goodness, why can't I find the one thing? I know I'm spending way too much on this, but he looks like Matt Walsh. Point taken. He looks like Matt Walsh. That's it. Maybe one day I'll find it. Maybe in the break. Okay, but Matt Walsh. Well, this is Matt Walsh, generic white man, right? Generic white man number 300.
He is a controversial figure because he's one of those guys that does not sugarcoat. So at the beginning of the documentary, he kind of like, yeah, he does not sugarcoat stuff. But what a perfect guy. I do think God uses God, there's so many different people in the kingdom of God, and it's a beautiful thing. And there's some that are just so empathetic and really like relatable and get down on.
Okay, empathetic. It's there's a whole lot of things that always gets to me. And people saying they're empathetic is one of them. I mean, I saw the stuff about them saying it had gone woke. I know, right? I mean, Homelander was clearly offending. He fucks a Nazi. Like, how much more obvious evil do you need? The inability of conservatives to critically analyze any form of media brings me such great joy. Absolutely the greatest joy. Every time somebody is like, this thing went woke, right? Like, fucking, the boys went woke. Are you fucking kidding me? They've always been like that. Like, the whole fucking, like, the first season is about taking down the VOT. And they're, like, they're capitalism. They are literally just capitalism, right? Like, the lives that they destroy do not matter as long as they make money. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the whole thing is nothing but that. Same thing when like, every time, like, oh, like, when RoboCop, when they're like, RoboCop, what, like, fucking, are you kidding me? Or the Star Trek ones, right? Every time they're like, Star Trek is woke now. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Star Trek. Like, none of you have watched the things that you pretend to be fans of. It's like the Punisher logo and Cops, right? Cops who, like, put the Punisher logo on their shit, and, like, pretty much white supremacists and cops have taken over the Punisher logo to the point where Disney has been, like, Disney and Marvel have been like, that's not our logo anymore. That's not the Punisher's logo anymore. Even though the Punisher fucking hates cops, right? Like, Punisher ACAB all the way. Like, no critical analysis of any form of media by these guys. It's hilarious. I forgot what Paul and Morgan had said. With that, we're gonna take, like, the quickest of breaks, mostly so that I can go get a beer and take a little bio break. But enjoy some some fan art and enjoy some music, and we'll be right back in just a little bit. If I remember, how do I? Which one of these is intermission? This one is. Hello, and we're back. Ooh, music's so on my end. Let's turn it off. There we go. How's everyone doing? I'm back. We're back. We got a beer. And we're gonna test out if beers still taste disgusting, because they tasted disgusting the other day when I had one. So let's find out together. Also, I got Emma. Look at her. Oh, she's my little baby girl. So. Is it good? Ooh, it smells like strawberries. Ooh, that's good. Still tastes a little gross. More than a little gross, but we're gonna drink it. But it smells like strawberries, so I'm wondering if it's a beer, not me. My sister came by with stuff for my fridge and freezer. Just all the cold liquid food. I can actually eat something. Yay! You're just gonna take a blender to everything. Like, just make your food and blend it. It's fine. Plenty of oil. I don't know. All right. So Paul and Morgan, sipping on Matt Walsh. Looks like I got a link to. I got a thing. So. Maybe one of these days. Do you have any idea how many tweets there are complaining about boys and unrealistic? Oh, I'm sure there's plenty. Like, I think there was a whole, there was a whole, like, there was a whole, like, Reddit thread, right? There was a whole thing. Like, I remember this whole thing being, like, it was a big deal. People are stupid and made a really big deal out of this. And honestly, it's hilarious. It shows unrealistic. I know, right? To be fair, the things that there are, it's not even fair. It's not even to be fair, right? The thing that's going on is that the shows are tackling at least very real things that happen in our world, and also they are actually tackling them in a very realistic way, where they are like, if superheroes were real and capitalism existed, it would be shit, and they are right. And so they are they're really shining a light on a lot of the fucked up shit that is in the real world, and as it turns out, the fucked up shit that happens in the real world doesn't actually map onto our expectations of superhero films. Hey, look, it's the thing that, it's what these things are supposed. It's what this commentary is all about, right? They don't match up, and people are having a really hard time understanding that. No, this is how this shit actually be. It's not that it's unrealistic, is that your expectations of reality do not match up what reality actually is. It's a bit of a wonky thing to say. Ooh, those were my messages. Oh.
On maybe these people's level that are struggling with the gender confusion, and then there's just kind of some wrecking balls that
It tastes awful.
Also are used, in my opinion, for the kingdom of God, and we kind of see.
Oh. That's what we were simping about. We were literally saying, God, literally saying how God has chosen Matt Walsh. It is absolutely flabbergasting. Like, if I were God, right? If I were God, I would be real pissed about a bunch of fucking losers being out there trying to tell other people what I want, like, what I actually want, right? Like, I'd be pissed. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, don't fucking talk for me. I'm God. Like, what the fuck, guys? Also, the audacity to be like, I know what God really wants is... It is an insane level of... I don't know if narcissism is the right word. Maybe it is narcissism. But it's this insane level of confidence to sit around and pretend like you know what an all-powerful, all-knowing being actually wants. Like the fucking audacity to do that. Now, I'm not even religious, right? In any way, shape, or form am I religious, and I still find that to be just the most audacious thing to do. Like, where do you get off? Where do you get off trying to pretend like you know what God wants? What the fuck? Oh yeah, and people aren't struggling. Yes, the gender struggling with gender identity. Yeah, that's always it's a. We'll talk about the stat in a second, but it's always one of those things that people point out to how, like, the statistics on, like, suicide within the trans community and how high it is, as like a look at how bad it is to be trans. They have a lot of suicide without at all realizing that the reason that the suicide rates are so high is because of people like them, right? Like, the only reason that people are having a hard time, trans people have a hard time, not the only, there's plenty of reasons, right? But one of the reasons that trans people have a hard time in society, and struggle with either being out or at all with their gender identity or even gender dysphoria, is because of people like Paul and Morgan, is because of people who sit around and question trans people, right? Like, if we did the thing that we really should do, which is just, like, allow others to be able to what's the word, not show, present themselves in the gender that they are, and ease the transition for people who want it, and create access to high quality psychiatry, psychologists, medical services, so that people could actually be happy with who they are, we wouldn't have these issues, right? Like all of these issues are because of people like Paul and Morgan. The reason that people, the trans people, have a hard time is because of Paul and Morgan, and it's not because of their own anything. It is them, and that's it. Like, it's their fault. Like, the fuck. Oh yeah, I had a good therapy yesterday. Remember how to hope again, and imagine getting to an okay place. Like, opposite advice of these shitheads. Yeah, like, literally, it's always so frustrating, right? Because the solutions to half of these problems, right? Like, the solutions to all of these is so simple. Just provide easy access to this shit. It's so simple, and then we wouldn't. There would be no issues, right? We wouldn't have to have debates about this or talk about people having issues. Like, it wouldn't exist. But we have to be fucking Paul and Morgan have to be fucking assholes about it. If we allow people to be and help them, suddenly they are happy and unalive themselves. Weird that, I know, right? It's yeah. Just fucking let people be happy. Jesus fuck, it ain't that hard. Oh no, load video.
Personality types and stuff in scripture, but Matt Walsh is the wrecking ball type.
Definitely.
Oh yes, the personalities of the Bible, the wrecking ball type. The wrecking ball. I remember that. And Matthew 5:15. I don't know. Fucking the wrecking ball came by. Jesus fuck, I swear.
I just kind of wonder, does he ever smile or laugh? Because he's just so, like...
I bet off camera he laughs.
Yeah, I was like...
I doubt it. I you know what? It's like, I'm fairly certain this man is just never happy. Like, this is a person who creates his own enemies, right? This is a person who sits around and makes his own life miserable for Bunny. I can't imagine that this man is happy. And the reason that he's not is his own fucking thing, right? Like if he could just for a second stop himself from creating his own bad guys and stop oppressing himself, he probably would smile more. But he doesn't, because that's his whole thing, is to make himself miserable. I got burnt out from the hoops, so like my brain couldn't process what I'd like for things to be okay. I lost my train of thought. I'm just chill and sick. Yeah, yeah, it's being sick sucks. But yes, hope is nice, right? Like it's very nice. What was that one? It Gets Better, right? The It Gets Better campaign, for gay kids in high school and shit, because getting bullied in high school for being gay is really bad. Just having that hope of like, you just make it out of here and it gets better, it fucking makes a difference. God. They fucking said empathy. I remember now. I was gonna rant about empathy and people like this. Because that is one of the things that, like, Paul and Morgan, I think, said earlier about how Christians are empathetic or something about empathy, or they're empathetic. No, you fucking ain't empathetic, right? Hey, Gio, there is literally nothing empathic about you. Period. There just isn't. You are a bunch of assholes. I would not grant to the yeah. No, they are definitely on the pathetic side of scales. There's nothing empathetic about them at all. And if you had any amount of empathy, you would not be this kind of person. One of the things that I always remember, or always blows my mind, is when I find somebody who's in psychology who is conservative. Period. Like not even like a right winger or a MAGA person, but like actually just a good old fashioned conservative, right? If you work in the medical field or if you work in psychology of any shape, I don't know what your brain needs to do to say, I'm going to go into a field that requires immense amount of empathy, immense amounts of understanding in order for me to be effective at my job, at the career that I chose. And then go and be a conservative. Like, the fuck? Like, how'd you get there? How did your brain do that? How did your brain go from being understanding to being not understanding? Like, the fuck? Thank God I haven't seen the documentary yet. I know, right? Or, you know what? We might actually see it. Surgical fields can be more like mechanic, right? Like, and there's probably some parts of medicine that you probably could be, right? Like, probably if you're a surgeon, where you have a problem and your job is to get rid of that problem. Sure. Psychology, when you have to talk to people about the problems in their life, and to be like, no, to be like that, fucking, it's insane. So no. Matt Walsh, no empathy. You two, no empathy. I don't care how much you say that you do. You have zero empathy. You're not empathetic people. You are not people who care about the well-beings of others. Because if you did, you would not be the shitty people that you are. It's really that simple.
Like, thinking, like, if he ever interviewed me, I'd be so intimidated because I'd be over here, like, giggling and laughing, and he'd be like, oh my gosh, this guy hates me.
That's part of his stick, is he's interviewing these people that he's asking these questions to, and you know.
Are you suggesting that smug look isn't empathetic? I know, right? It's not that hard to be empathetic, right? It's not that hard to just be like, hey, you're having a hard time. Like, it's not. I guess that's the difference, right? Like, it's to me, it comes off as such an easy thing to do. Like, it doesn't require any amount of effort for me look at someone else's plight and feel for them, right? It's one of the I don't want to sound or be like one of those people, but I give a lot because I have a hard time watching somebody else going through a hard time and me do nothing about it, right? And being from that, and then, like, how do you all look at people who are having a hard time and say, no, I want to make your life worse, not better? And half the time, cruelty is the point, right? It's not, they frame it around as if they actually care about the person, right? Like, they're not being bigoted, they just care, and their caring comes from a different spot. No, like, being cruel is the point.
You know that he knows the answers to the questions, but he's asking them to honestly show the lunacy by getting them to answer. And some of these debates, if you will, some of these, I guess it's more of just like interviews. Some of them get pretty interesting.
Knowing the answers that they probably get, I doubt that these answers are particularly lunacy. Like, I'm pretty sure they're all fairly mild, but hopefully we get a clip of them, because I'm getting tired of watching you, Paul.
And we're about to get on some of that.
Literally
every
single interview gets very interesting.
And honestly, like, Morgan and I were just talking about it, the documentary is heavy. Like, this is heavy subject matter, and I just do want to say, like, it was yesterday I mentioned posting something about Pride Month, and
oh, please don't post anything about Pride Month. Oh God, sorry. This beer is awful. I'm upset. I'm upset that I don't like this beer because I love this beer. Oh. I mean, Spherical Earth was lunacy to people too. No, he's demanding getting 3 weeks of free college level education for free in 5 minutes. Yeah. That is one of, like, very much so within the Ray Comfort, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro sphere of things, where these are Paul is right. This is a heavy subject, right? It's got a lot of emotion. It's to trans people. This isn't a debate. This isn't something that you can just sit around and have like a fun little debate about it. Like, this is their life, right? So it is a heavy subject. It is not something that should be taken lightly. This isn't something that you should just approach and want a quick, simple answer. This is something that takes time, and it takes effort to understand. Matt Walsh, Paul and Morgan, they are not interested in taking time and putting effort into understanding the subject. That's not what they're here. This is... Oh, there's a spider on my ceiling. Hi, spider. This is this is not in good faith. Matt Walsh is not coming to these people in good faith to try to learn more about them or try to learn more from them. And honestly, Paul really said it earlier, where he's like, he's asking these questions to show the lunacy of the answers, and that is the point, right? Not that the questions are not that the answers are actually show any lunacy, but that is what Matt is after. Matt is after trying to get answers that he can then clip into sounding crazy. He's not there to try to understand. That's not the point. He doesn't want to understand. He doesn't want to sit there and do any of this. It takes time. It takes effort to understand people, and they're not going to put any amount of effort into it. Okay. If the radioactive or gene manipulated spider will get superpowers now. I hope so. I also don't want to get bitten by it, though. That sounds bad.
Morgan encouraged me. What did you encourage me to do, babe?
To pray before you post. Yeah. I feel like, during this specific month of Pride Month or whatever, it's easy to want to hop on the train of like posting like against Pride Month, and I'm not.
I love that they're not. They don't pretend to be something they're not. If nothing else, well, besides the whole empathy thing, right? Is it Black Widow? No, then you're fine. Part of the yeah, it's not a Black Widow. It's, I don't know what it is. But that's how it gets superpowers. That was my thing. What was with those quotations in Pride Month? Right, because it's Pride is a sin. I don't know. It's a real month. Suck it up, Buttercup. I already forgot what I was gonna say about fucking Paul Morgan. I don't know about. Oh yes, that they're not. They're very masks off about how much they want to just shit on gay people or trans people, right? Like the LGBTQ community. How much they just want to, like, that's what Paul wants to do. Paul just wants to get in there and just be an ass to queer people and gay people and trans people. Like, that's what he wants to do. He wants to show up and do that. And his wife has to be like, hey, you're being a bit of a bitch. Maybe don't. And it's fucking hilarious. That it's refreshing that they're not fucking trying to hide it. Like, they're just bigots, and they're just out there being like, yeah, I just wanted to be an ass. Okay, well, thanks for letting us know, Paul.
Not against that, by all means. Yeah. But I think before you post, or even without even thinking about posting, like, you guys, we should really be lifting this community up in prayer. And we should... I mean, like, going to...
See, this is... Oh, God. Okay. I just went from being like, at least they're not fucking, at least they're being upfront about it. And then they go and do fucking this shit. This is that same kind of, like, empathy shit that I was talking about, where it's pretend caring. These two don't fucking care. These two do not remotely care, right? They don't care about Pride. They don't care about the LGBTQ community. They don't care about any of this shit. They're just here to shit on gay people, shit on trans people. That's what they're here for. And they have to tell themselves that they're doing it out of kindness, even though it's a bunch of bullshit. Paul just wants to go into that ass, but he did not spend all this time and effort on the beer next to him to know and to him to now admit it. It's true. Paul, you're such a handsome man. Why are you such a bitch? Like, the gay man in me is like, oh, Paul, because he's a very handsome man. That's a good job. I need to stop because he's a bad person. He's a terrible person, but also, it's a disgusting way to hide your bigotry. Is to pretend like it's actual kindness, especially following the sentence of what Paul just said, where he just wanted to shit on them, and then to go ahead and pretend like you're doing it out of kindness. Like, no, Paul just admitted he's not doing it out of kindness, and Wave has to jump in here and be like, no, we gotta pretend like we care. Fuck you. That's just because he belongs in It's Always Sunny as Handsome One. Yeah, that's true. Can you imagine them doing anything with romantic passion? Like, can you picture those two French kissing each other into the floor? I can't. They are like 1950s in the 21st century. You know, I would honestly not be surprised if this two have separate beds. I would not be surprised. Also, nothing wrong with separate beds. But I wouldn't be surprised if these two have separate beds. I kind of would have liked separate beds. I think every once in a while it's nice to kind of just like flop all over the place. It's kind of nice now to not live with my partner in that way, because I get to have my room to myself and just like flop all over it, all over my bed, and make a fucking my bedroom. No, not my bedroom. My bed in particular, fucking mess. I have like a corner of my bed that's got like my Switch and my books in it, so that I can read and play games while I'm in bed, and then like part of it that's like just for the sleeping part of me, because I'm a fucking gremlin who has like fucking hoard all of his shit around himself and then go to bed. It's so bad. I lost my glasses, so I had them yesterday because I've been wearing them all week. I haven't had to go outside, so I haven't had to wear contacts. But I went outside yesterday, put on contacts, cannot find my fucking glasses. Either Edge stole them and had hid them somewhere, or they have ended up like somewhere in my mess of bed. Like if I dig out like a fucking archaeological dig, I might find my glasses, but otherwise it's just not there. So no. Nobody wants to share a bed with me. Okay, my bed. All right, here we go.
Going into this, watching this documentary, I was not prepared, honestly, for it to be as like heavy as it was. Which I don't know why I wasn't, because it is an incredibly
why weren't you?
Heavy topic of just seeing
it is heavy.
Minds of people and how far gone they are, in my opinion. Like
it's I really want to put a mirror up to Paul and Morgan. And just be like, this is you. Like, look at how far gone you are. That you're simping over Matt Walsh. Like, and you're losing your shit over very benign statements that they're really like they're just little benign statements. Nobody so far granted you've only shown me one clip, but nobody has said anything ridiculous besides you all.
Like, it's insane.
I'm going to choose to say God can redeem. God can open eyes. He can completely transform lives. But it is, some of these people, you look at the stuff they're saying and the way that they're saying it, the way their mind works, and it is like, it's hard to comprehend. And that's kind of what Morgan is saying.
Yeah. As we were watching this,
we're gonna check our text messages as we're watching this. No one says anything silly other than the people who are there to agree with Matt. Probably.
Just like from the very beginning, honestly, I very quickly was just reminded of Romans 1. And
Romans 1.
How throughout Romans 1, Paul is talking about basically how God has handed people over to their sin and their
depravity.
Yeah, their depravity.
I really want to fucking judgmental assholes. Like, the most judgmental of assholes is these two. Like, the thing about the trans community, the gay community, is if you mind your own goddamn business, you'd be fine. Right? Like, nobody is out there telling Paul and Morgan, besides us apparently, that they need to be gay, that they need to be trans, that they need to do any of this shit, right? Nobody is bothering them. They're the ones inserting themselves into these communities and then having an issue with it. Like, this is entirely their own making. Whatever problems they're having, it's their own making. And so the idea that all you have to do to be okay with the gay trans community is not give a fuck about what other people do. And if you do that, you're fine. Clearly, these two have a hard time doing that because they're judgmental assholes who need to be they need to be in everyone's business. But if they weren't, like, they'd be fine. Like, you would be fine. You are doing this to yourselves. Why would God need to transform lives? Didn't the jerk allegedly make us all? Why did it not make us okay? Why is it dissatisfied? Why is he dissatisfied with his work? Oh, it's work. I see. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. There's a lot of good questions about like. Also, this is your fault, God, I guess. Like, maybe don't make people gay. I don't know. Have you thought about that? If you don't like it, who knows?
And to me, it's just like, I was watching that through all of these interviews, or most of these interviews that Matt had with these doctors and these professors and these people, these
professionals.
advocates.
These are the professionals of our society.
Yeah.
They are professionals because they have spent years, decades of their lives studying something that you are not willing to do. That's it. Like, that's why they're professional. That's why they know better than you. They know better than you. And you just need to accept the fact that they know better than you when it comes to these issues. And having an education from Matt Walsh isn't going to put you on par with them. Why are you angry that I went to your pottery club and started to shit on pottery? I know, right? Except for Jordan B. Peterson, yes, he doesn't count. Yeah, like, it's entirely these people. Like, leave people alone. I don't know. Have you tried that? Have you tried just, like, leaving people alone? That's it. That's what you gotta do.
To speak.
And to me, it was like, holy moly. These people have lost all common sense. And this, to me, was like the perfect image of what it looks like to be handed over to your depravity. And it's heartbreaking.
Again, nothing but judgmental assholes. That's it. You're just judgmental assholes.
It is so sad. And I just have a very heavy heart right now.
That's one of the reasons we're trying to talk about this documentary. Some people will be like, Paul Morgan, why are you talking about it? And even when we talked about, like, pronouns in our bios, we talked about should Christians engage in putting pronouns in our bios in a few videos back, and it has just been stormed with hate comments. Like, I don't even respond to the comments on it anymore because it's just swarmed. But it's like all
good. Like you put stupid ideas out there, and people responded in tow. Like I'm sure that there are comments that go overboard, and I'm not going to read all your comments and say which ones are and which ones aren't. But, like, these are the consequences of your actions, Paul and Morgan. You put hate out into the world, and you're going to get hate back, right? You're not putting love out into the world. You're putting out hate. And then people respond in kind and hate back at you. This is it. Like, this is your own doing. All of these issues are your own doing. If you just sat down and shut up for a while and listened, you probably wouldn't be in this problem. If you tried to educate yourself before speaking, you probably wouldn't be getting yourself into this problem. If you didn't go online and spread hate, you probably wouldn't be getting hate back. That's just how it goes. Like, I know the internet's just full of hate just for funsies, but the reason that you're getting hate is because you are being hateful. It's a direct response to what you put out there. Did you hear about Jordan's recent interview where he told about his switch to majors in college because he wanted to search for a purpose in life? Oh, I did hear about that. I heard about that. I know that was not a comment towards me, but I read it anyway. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, did you all see that Jordan B. Peterson deleted the tweet that he would rather die than delete? Jesus fuck. What a fucking drama queen. Again, entirely something self-created. And Jordan B. Peterson was like, I'd rather die than delete this tweet. Like, bitch, it's a tweet. It ain't that fucking special. Like, it's... God, how old are you? Dude, you're a doctor. And you're fucking how old? And you sit around and you're like, I would rather die than delete a fucking tweet. And then he put the screenshot of it out. Like, what the fuck, bud? Like, see, like, the thing is, you could have done that at first, right? You could have started with, fuck you, Twitter, I'm not deleting this. Delete it and put the screenshot of it because, there. But no, you fucking had to be dramatic about it. God, that man is such a broken man. Ugh.
All this stuff is connected. However trivial you want to make it, it is connected and it's very real. And one of the guys in the documentary, he was like a 40-year-old biological female that transitioned, and he was speaking out and saying he's just kind of the immense pain and struggle and corruption around this industry.
How terrible it was, and how they he completely regrets like transitioning.
And now he speaks out against it. But one thing he said was,
the one example, right? Like, it's fucking 2 hours ago we talked about this. The one example, I am sure there are so many goddamn trans people, so many. You can't just take one person and have them represent. That can't be your one token trans person, right? He was also lying about transitioning a lot. Oh, really? I don't even know who this person is. And just, to be completely nice, let's believe that this one person, that he regrets his transition, right? He does. He just does not. He regrets it. The amount of people who transition, and don't regret it, so outweigh the amount of people who do and then regret it. Everything, every medical decision comes with its pros and cons. There is not a single medical decision that does not come with some sort of con or some sort of thing, right? But the fact that the rate of success is so high with transitioning should tell you a whole lot, right? But the fact that an overwhelming amount of trans people do not regret transitioning, and that you have to work to find a couple of people who do, should in and of itself speak to how successful it is to transition, right? Of course, they are going to 100%, Paul and Morgan, going to ignore the vast majority of people who are happy, so that they can focus on the one or two people that they can find who are not. And so fucking dishonest. And it's probably what Matt did, right? Matt's whole thing was to make a video where he did that. We did just that, where he found a couple of people and then ignored everyone else who was like, no, this is cool.
Was what he maybe mentioned, this was 30 years ago. What chance do our youths of today even have because of how much culture has embraced this? What chance do they even have? And we're here saying, encouraging you guys, go watch this documentary, and we're giving our 2 cents, using scripture and just doing our best to jump into the conversation because we feel like it is worth it. It's
don't mind your own fucking business. That's it, right? Just mind your own goddamn business. These are medical decisions that are made by individuals and their caregivers. They do not involve you in any way, shape, or form, Paul. Do they not involve you? You are not the person who has to deal with the consequences of this medical decision. And honestly, you should have zero say on it. Zero. None whatsoever. This has nothing to do with you. And to be fair to you, Paul, I should have zero say in any of your medical decisions, and no should anyone else have say into your medical decisions. They're your medical decisions. You are an adult. You make them, right? For yourself. And you need to not have... This isn't your fucking business, Paul. At all. It is not your business what people do with our bodies. It doesn't hurt you in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. There is literally nothing harmful to you about this. The only problem is that you need to insert yourself in here. It just goes back to this every time. It's just you insert yourself into this community and then get upset that this community is around you. You don't have to do that. This is all you. This is all you doing this. You are the one causing the problem. And then you're sitting around complaining as if other people... No, this is all you. Whiny little bitch. God. Blah. I don't like them. Have I said I don't like them enough today? Because I don't like them. This beer is disgusting. I am upset. I need you all to know how upset I am that this beer is gross. It's so gross. I'm not happy. I want to like it. I really do. I miss you, beer. Oh, but it's so gross. I need... fucking COVID.
I feel like it's absolutely worth it. So, Morgan, why don't we play the clip? So, Matt, in one of the interviews, I believe this was a professor at Tennessee University of gender studies.
I do want to get to the actual clips too.
Fascinating interview. It was one where I think you'll see in this clip. It's only a short portion of it, but the guy starts to get pretty uncomfortable, pretty ticked, and he
Well,
threatened.
yeah. Again, you fucking insert yourself. Right, with the background to all this, which I talked about earlier, is that Matt Walsh fucking lied about the intent of his interviews, and I'm sure that as people sat around and realized what his true intent of these interviews were, they started to get pissed. I'd be pissed too! Like, you fucking lied to me to get me into this interview, all so that you could make a shitty movie. Like, it's reasonable to be upset about it. Hey, buddy. Have you all met? I don't remember. See, this is what happens. I don't remember when the last time we streamed was. Look at this man. Look at this man. He's so long. Oh, look at how long he is. He's such a long boy. He's got such a long tail. This is my new boy. I'm not sure if people met him or not, but this is Edge. He's my new boy. He's lovely. He's a little edgy boy. Okay, but that's besides the point. Edge is just making me happy. While listening to Paul and Morgan. For every time Paul tries to get into other people's medical business, we get to decide how many fingers Paul should have. Honestly. Like, what fucking business do you have? And, like, this, it's such an annoying thing. Like, it's not just, it's not just with transitioning. Like, the problem with people with abortion right now is that people feel the need to have a say into other people's medical decisions. You don't get to have a say in other people's medical decisions. They're their medical decisions. If they want to make them that way, then they get to make them that way. And you don't get to sit around and be like, no, that's it's not your problem. It's period. It just isn't. But Paul and Morgan feels are more important than facts.
To walk out,
Sure.
But play a little bit of that. They're talking about the truth. What is truth?
I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of like getting to the truth again in social life.
Why is that uncomfortable?
Because it sounds actually deeply transphobic to me. And if you keep probing, we're gonna stop the interview.
If I probe about what the truth is?
You keep invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude.
Okay. God damn it. Now we're gonna have to watch the fucking movie because I don't know what the context is of that. My guess, it is against my will. Every time I see Paul Morgan, it's against her will. That's true. So there's a good chance, right? Like that's taken out of, you don't get the context. Yeah. Is it out of context in the movie too? As I wouldn't be surprised if it was out of context in the movie too. The clip is clearly trying to pretend as if this professor has a hard time with the concept of truth, right? Things are being true or things are being factually correct or anything like that. And it's if you have any amount of nuance, saying statements like the truth, what is true, what is fact, becomes difficult to answer in that, like, what is truth? Like, fucking who knows, right? And they want to pretend like being nuanced about an argument, right? With the thing that we said earlier, that having a nuanced argument is the same as having some sort of lunacy to it, right? It's bad to have some sort of a nuanced argument, which is so far from the truth. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is that this professor has a very nuanced understanding about this subject, and Matt wants to not talk about it in a nuanced way. He wants to talk about it in very simple terms. And then when people get frustrated, rightfully so, that he's being dishonest about the way that he's using terms, he's using that as evidence for why these people don't know what they're talking about. And that's entirely not what's going on. It's the other way around, is that Matt Walsh doesn't know what he's talking about, and people don't want to talk to him about it because he's just being a random weirdo.
That was such a strange interaction, in my opinion.
You keep evoking the word truth, and these guys, like in many of these interviews, are so, like, in a sense, well spoken, and yet they are so off. Like, it's shocking.
It's shocking.
And Matt Walsh ends up asking that
Shocking.
guy, okay, so you're obviously, here's where you stand. If I were to say, because he asks him, like, what is a woman? And the guy can't answer. And so he says,
No.
okay, so if I were to say, hey, I'm a black man, refer to me as a black man, could you do it? And the guy, yeah. And I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
It's not a great question. It's a childish, dishonest question, right? And even if, okay, so I'm gonna fucking pull from my own experience, right? When it comes to something like race, right, and saying like, I'm Mexican, I'm Latino. I have genuinely had people question if I'm Latino, and that has to do with the fact that what does it mean to be Latino is a very nuanced and complex thing. That yes, I can call myself Latino. Doesn't mean that for everybody. Who knows, right? Some people look at me without having an accent and say, you can't be Latino, you don't have an accent. I'm a first generation immigrant, and I'm very white in a lot of the things that I am, and a lot of things that I do. And it's not as simple as just being like, your skin is this color. And I'm not going to pretend like I understand the black community, but it's also not such it's not such an easy thing to define. It's not such an easy thing to just be like, you are this or I am this. And what does that encompass? Who the fuck? But your skin is that color. I know. Yeah, right, like, and that's what Matt Walsh wants, right? He wants him to say, be like, no, you're clearly not black, you're white, right? But there's so much nuance to that, right? Like, there are, my family, for example, my dad and I, and one of my sisters, my dad, my sister, and I, have darker complexion. Like, we're very much so not white people, right? Like, we have very not white people features, right? We have jet black hair, big noses, the skin color, right? My mom and my little sister easily passes white people because they are their complexion is much paler. They look white, right? They look like white people. But I can't go to my sister or my mom and be like, you cannot call yourselves Latinos because you don't have the right skin color. And the same thing happens, like, trying to define what a race is by just your skin color is also silly because there's so many cultural things that go with it. Where you come from, kind of what you've been through. The same thing is true with the gay community. One of the things that I struggle with is that coming out gay much later in life, it sometimes feel like I'm a fake gay because I never went through, like, I wasn't out gay in high school, so I don't have like that. I wasn't bullied for being gay. I wasn't, even though I lived I went to high school in the 90s and in the early aughts, when fucking calling someone a faggot was like the thing that the F word, I really shouldn't. Somebody using that slur, in high school was like the thing that you did constantly, but I didn't have to deal with that, right? Like I didn't deal with it because I wasn't out. And by the time I came out, I was also like, I don't give a fuck. I'm too old to give a fuck. And for me, inside, I get this like, I'm a fake gay because I didn't have to deal with all the oppression that comes with being gay. And has nothing to do with whether I'm gay or not. It's just how you feel about it. It's this, like, these categories involve so much more than just like superficial skin color, like the way that you act. And that is the whole point about like why professionals not struggle, but don't give simple answers to like, what is a woman? And it's because it's not a one thing. There isn't a thing to do it. There's so much to it. But they refuse to say it. So yeah, Matt, I don't know. Maybe he is black, and if he wants to be called a black man, sure. I don't know, but it's a weird fucking thing to say, and it's also dishonest because it's Matt. It's not like Matt is coming from a place of honesty, who legitimately wants to be addressed as his own identity, right? Like, that's not why he's doing it. He's not doing it because this is who he really is and this is how he wants to be addressed. He's doing it because he's an asshole, right? He's doing it because he wants to demonize the fact that that people look different and still fit in the category. Right? That people aren't defined by their skin color, and he wants to be an ass. He wants to be difficult. That's his whole thing. It's what Paul said forever ago. So no, the professor is probably not mad at him for like a really good question. He's mad at him because Matt is dishonest. What color would that be? Crayon does not have Crayola does not have R&D. It doesn't. I have my Crayolas here. The problem with reducing it to skin color is that the discrimination does not stop purely at the skin color. Rosa Parks was a very light-skinned person of color too. Obama also had not really dark skin, but was treated as if he had stepped right out of the Congo jungle 5 minutes earlier. Yeah, it's fucking wild. And the fucking moral of the story is that these are conversations that take a lot of nuance, that are difficult, and require a lot of patience, a lot of time, and a lot of effort for people to actually participate in them. And it's not what Paul and Morgan want to do, and it's not what Matt Schwal wants to do. They don't want to put the effort into it. They want to get a quick answer, take it out of context, and see, look at how fucking crazy these people look. That's what they want. They don't actually want to have that nuanced conversations. And there really are nuanced conversations about this, right? You really could have a nuanced conversation about a woman is and probably find out that fucking who knows, and it probably shouldn't be a bunch of white guys who decide that, right? But that's not what they want. They don't want an actual conversation. The moment you start making racist and transphobic law, you run into the problem simply because there is no way to actually draw biological boundaries in a way that can help them be legislated. Yes, any of the downsides of growing up with such a heritage and being refused a lot of normal things, white people enjoy it. It's true. Or the opposite, right? Like, back to my family. One of the things that my dad and I have to deal with on a constant basis is airport security. Fucking hate it. My dad and I consistently get pulled aside to get randomly checked, right? It feels a little weird that it's always my dad and I who get randomly checked. Sister and mom, fucking walk on by, no problem. Nobody even bats an eye at them walking by. They're two cute little white girls. And they're not white. They're fucking Mexican. But they look like two cute little white girls. And so, mom, sister, a little more right on by. My dad and I, no. Every goddamn time we get stopped, right? And it's how it happens, right? And people can look at like my sister, my family, who is very much so Mexican, and be like, no, they're not, because they don't look a certain way. It's fucking complicated. Paul, Morgan, it's complicated. Stop being little bitches. I don't know what to say. Alright, with that, we're pretty much at the end of the show. So we've been here for 2 hours. Great job, team. Go us. I don't know. I got like 2 days left of being on vacation. Maybe I'll make a video. I haven't done that in a while. Promises? No promises. But maybe I will. Also, now that I have a link to, I have pirated Matt Walsh's movie, maybe I'll download it and watch it for next time, because that might be kind of fun. Not fun in the hee-hee way, more like the sad kind of fun. Okay, well, thank you everyone for being here. I do appreciate it. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next time.